Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Dealer. You've made it. Welcome to the beginning of the end of the world. Saturn, which is the representation of the world in tarot, is 0 degrees, which is the beginning of the end. Pisces, last zodiac sign of the world. Saturn, 0 degrees, Pisces, beginning of the end of the world. So for this to coincide with the full moon in Virgo is just more evidence that the planets themselves are orchestrating some symphony and dance with us in Earth, being able to play it out and other such species laden throughout the universe. Given that we are officially coming out of the portal of the old world, the Great Veil is reinstituting itself, which is a 30-year cycle relative to Saturn, Neptune, and then Saturn in Pisces. But this time Neptune is in Pisces. And so this whole phenomena of the veil being cut thin, well, there won't be a veil anymore. And this is the end of the illusions. This is the demystification and the disillusionment of all the lies and false narratives that were only meant to be a stopgap measure to stop the burgeoning awakening collective from spearheading revolution, which is not a conscious means. This is a subconscious revolution that's going to play out from within you, especially if you're selected and chosen to awaken powers and abilities that have been loading in you up until this point. If you're Saturn Capricorn, Saturn Aquarius, get ready, because like you're just getting ready to blossom your powers. And it doesn't matter what Saturn you are, even if you're Saturn Aries, born in 96, 97, after all this, you're getting ready for your Saturn return. So everyone collectively is blossoming what Saturn and Capricorn instill and awakened in you. Whether you're using that to prepare for your Saturn return, or you're blossoming a recently completed Saturn return, or you're like in the 60s, this is your second Saturn return, or maybe you're like in the 80s, you're completing your Saturn return. So everyone's gonna come at this different, but what we all have in common is one day everyone will experience death, whether permanently or temporarily. Shout out to the Eternal Life Gang. All right, those who walk in Christ know it's never the end for you. And this is the most important thing that I have to say. Don't turn into a stupid little bitch now that you're going to enter this period of darkness. This is not the period to get caught up by anxiety and worry about stupid, useless 3D shit about what are other people gonna think about me if I do this? What's gonna happen to me? You have gone through crazy tower moments and crazy evolution to prepare you for this point, because there are other people who did not get the training you did, and there are other people who are going to be lost just wondering what the fuck's happening because they've been lied to, and they're going to need you. They do not need to see you running down the street like a chicken whose head is off its body. They need to see you poised in your fullest self. Whether you need to watch certain programs to get you psyched up, I'm just going to let you know right now, you're not going to get this love and light bullshit help. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. And it's only those who know their gods that's going to do exploits. We're entering a period where even evil people will have supernatural abilities, and because they can use superpowers, trick you into believing that they're trustworthy. Discernment is more necessary than ever. And the most important thing I could say for you is that when it looks during this next 2-year period that all hope is lost because Jupiter is going to leave Aries in May and we're not going to have any central light source. There's nothing in Sag. There's nothing in Leo for 17 years. And that's it for Aries until 2025, when we have Saturn and Neptune, which isn't really like a central light source. One is a new world order that's going to limit individual freedoms that you have 2 years to prepare for. And then the other is a whole Neptunian supernatural advent of a new cycle, which is extra dimensional. So it's a belief in your own inner light to spark through during the crusade area post 2025. All right. forget everything you've ever learned or known, because now you're getting ready to transcend it and apply it through adaptation, similar to someone who graduated college. And yeah, you learn that in a textbook, but bitch, you're in real life experience right now. Throw that shit in the trash. Like, it's only going to help you so much. Like, you need your actual experience. So please, no matter how dark it gets, because it will get very dark if you've seen sneak peeks of everything happening, don't let that scare you, okay? Smile in the face of evil and darkness. And I mean, even when there's no hope, even when perceivably there's no way forward, you better not fucking give up. Like, you didn't come here to give up because you look in your 3D external environment and nothing's going the way you think it's supposed to. Use what you learn, because unfortunately, this is a 2-year culling process where 80% of the world population may not even make it. And I don't mean to really say this in a doomsday thing, because the doomsday thing isn't even here. Like, the whole advent of like mass extinction probably won't happen until another century, 200 years, but it's very possible that it could happen this decade. So I'm not out here preaching negativity, just giving you some realism. None of this will matter if you just stay centered into the dream and vision that got you moving here. Because the only people who are going to make it into this new world and new age are gods, celestials. This is the return of the gods, the new age of the gods, the return of the kings, okay? The awakened potential of man and the advent of the evolution of consciousness and humanity, where we're finally breaking through into that next step, respective to a Neptunian cycle, a Plutonian cycle since the 1700s, which brought the advent of democracy, which we now see in its corruption being brought down for a new revolution. Several Saturn cycles of 30 years, specifically the last two, which initiated those born in the 60s and the 90s, okay, 2000s, y'all next up. So, whew, it's a lot to say, but why this is the final game changer is as you are harvesting supernatural abilities that you sowed the seeds for new moon in Pisces on Neptune. The opposition to Neptune is helping you understand with Virgo the physical, tangible, practical, detailed experience extending from your 5 senses of smell, touch, sight, and sense that enables you to critically analyze the real experiences that facilitate supernatural metaphysical dynamics that up until now was unconscious, and now you're starting to be able to use at will. This is the harvest of you now taking these elements of your crops and getting ready to use them moving forward, because once we finish this Pisces season, it's wartime. It's Aries season. We're going to have Jupiter in Aries, Chiron in Aries, that conjunction with Sun, Jupiter, 22 degrees before we reach the promised land in Taurus. Everything's going to move super fast. And the only message that I can give you is there's really nothing that you have more to learn. So please stop trying to look outside yourself for answers. Saturn in Pisces is crystallizing the totality of every single belief you've had since 93. And if you were born after then, since birth. And Saturn isn't here to coddle you. Okay, really treat every challenge and difficulty moving forward as if it's the greatest thing for you, because you're going to need it to level up and then meet and face these challenges. I have to once again emphasize, now is not the time to give into your fear and anxiety and cripple yourself like a little bitch. There are children right now who need your advice and guidance, not by you telling them anything. They're going to be watching when they see all these other fake fucks laughably die and fall in the face of their own lack of integrity. It's going to be you that they're watching walk your talk and actually stand by everything that you've been preaching or saying the past few years. It's not because you're shoving a philosophy down their throat. These kids are watching. They're going to look at your actions. So make sure you show them something admirable, because this is it. I don't know what else to say. The first part of this game changer brings us, of course, into Aries season over the next 2 weeks, which will, over the next 2 weeks, do a whole lot to completely accelerate and transcend the breakthrough of the understanding and belief of your own self-concept. That means the past 2 weeks you've been sowing the seeds and integrating this new belief in yourself, and now you're harvesting it. Now with this moon in Virgo, you are experiencing real detailed analysis and experiences that show you, oh shit, wow, okay, I'm changing. I'm not necessarily the same person I've been. I've evolved so much. And this is now giving you social context for how, Virgo, you can express the completion of new supernatural abilities accumulated through the past 2 years since 2020, where you awaken this power in a way where it's unpacked through 2021, and you strengthen the neural pathways and operating system with which to think about this, and now you're experiencing it. The next 2 weeks is going to be fucking gnarly because, I mean, we're literally now in the Saturn Portal over the next 2 years of bringing us into the new world. And this is where fantasy, mythological, and sci-fi themes that were never sci-fi unveil themselves as you begin to demystify the lies told to you your whole life. You don't need to tell me. You don't need me to tell you. You know by this point. Okay, so don't take my word for it, because that's the whole point. By the time the fog clears 2025 and you realize that certain things, if not everything, was a lie, you were either aligned with truth against the current of narratives that were wanting you to believe bullshit and you're prepared, or you're going to get caught off guard because you were listening to people who never had your best interest at heart, and now you realize, oh, all that shit was the truth, and you didn't use these next 2 years to prepare. This is not a message of fear. This is a message of victory, because if you're alive for a fucking reason. You have been selected to now express the culmination of everything that's built up to you. This is the most important thing about Saturn and Pisces. It's not just a transit, yo. This is the completion of an entire cycle that's going to coincide with the completion of the Neptune cycle, with of which the last time was in Pisces. People in this country were still arguing over whether black people with the Dred Scott case could even be really seen as having rights like that, versus now where they're doing the same thing with vaccinated and unvaccinated. Stay woke. Other than that, what's really, really most important is this full transcendence of your attachment to modern physics, biology, anatomy. Throw all that bullshit in the trash. It doesn't matter if there are peer-reviewed research through inconclusive, inconclusive facts or evidence and proof of old systems that are used that give you the illusion of progress. If you're too attached to the worldly wisdom of the scientific method I don't have a problem with, but like the discoveries here, which are really laughable in comparison to what you're truly capable of, is really just going to be a handicap that holds you back. Let it at most be supplementary to what you're picking up from within, because you are now connecting to these extra dimensional facets of yourself in a way that you're not going to learn in a textbook. You're not going to learn in college. This really just goes down to whoever seriously believes in himself enough or not, which is going to require you going against certain epithets of society. I hate to break it to you, society's dead. There's nothing in Libra, there's nothing in Leo, there's nothing in Virgo, there's nothing in Scorpio. Look at the socials who have energy in that area. They're depressed as fuck because they're not relevant anymore. It's all about the individuals. What up, Aries? What up, Taurus? What up, Gemini? What up, Cancer? What up, Pisces? Antisocial. What up, Aquarius? Antisocial. We up, motherfucker. We are fucking up, okay? That we're not fucking up, but we're up, motherfucker. That's it. And that's it. It's all about your individuality, carving a way to build a new society later when Saturn returns into Leo and we begin the creation of a new society that incorporates and integrates supernatural dynamics and, basically weeds out the older generation, because by then most people in the older generation who facilitated this blocks won't be alive. They'll be dead. So with that being said, welcome to the beginning of the end of the world. And as you begin to harvest supernatural abilities, pay attention to what your subconscious is guiding you to master, as this is the harvest period that's going to prepare you to take these abilities, change the belief in your self-concept, and now take this new warrior to war. Let's get it. Only other thing I have to say is don't get so caught up on people's opinions about you. Even more so, be very focused and aligned on where you're moving, because your brilliance and growth is now at a high time, triggering those who got off on superficial, just outside appearance and work that wasn't even work. So instead of just acknowledging that there's more work to have to do, you'll just feel projection on you that, you know, their insecurity is your problem, and just, you know, smack them in the face with your dick. You don't have to do anything else. Smack them in the face with your dick so hard they're knocked out. Especially if you have a clitoris. Smack them in the face with your dick. Don't be arguing with these fools. And get ready to step into the 2-year advent that's going to change literally everything. This is everything you prepared for. Godspeed. We ride at dawn.